Since we've been talking a lot about gardening, have you ever wondered what kind of nutrients do plants need? Today, we are going to dig deep about plant health, so stay tuned to learn everything there is about plant nutrition. Welcome to another episode of Garden Life, the channel for all of your gardening needs. We are aware that plants require the nutrients nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. But we are unsure of their functions, motivations, and consequences when inadequate amounts are present. Nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium, sulfur, chlorine, copper, iron, boron, molybdenum, zinc, carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen are all essential for plant growth. So let's consider what we need to comprehend. Compared to NPK, fertilizer is significantly deeper. On a fertilizer container, we can see those numerals, more detailed and complex than that. And while we don't need to be experts in every detail, we do need to have a solid foundation in plant growth. Hence, we can say, "What's up with my plant? It might require more than this. Perhaps there isn't enough of this for it." So we are all informed the fertilizer should be excellent for plants. And whether it comes from organic matter you've added to your soil over time, nutrients you've purchased that are organic, or nutrients you've made by yourself, plants require it. That's life. It is what it is, right? So let's discuss the NPK values. A 10-10-10 is composed of 10% potassium, 10% phosphorus, and 10% nitrogen. Because it's a percentile, 100 pounds of 10-10-10 are precisely the same as 200 pounds of 5-5-5, correct? So you'll receive 10 of each of these and 5% of 200, which is likewise 10 of each of these. There isn't really a difference. So let's start by discussing the essential nutrients, nitrogen. This is a sign of a plant's lack of nitrogen because it makes the plant appear lighter and more delicate. Therefore, one of the most crucial nutrients for strong, aggressive development, dark green leaves, and many photosynthesis-related processes. So plants that will grow primarily for their leaves or vegetation, such as grass, wheat, oats, leafy greens, microgreens, and so on, require a lot of nitrogen. Hence, you'll want a high first number, a high N, when you're buying a nitrogen-based fertilizer for plants. People will apply 30-0-0 to grass. Again, grass makes up the majority of all vegetation. There are only leaves everywhere, but keep in mind that 100 pounds of 30-0-0 are equivalent to 200 pounds of 15-0-0. Hence, if you want to ensure that you have a firm understanding of what you're truly purchasing when you buy these fertilizers, work on your math abilities there. Now, let's discuss phosphorus. Hence, this tomato leaf serves as an illustration of phosphorus deficit. It has the type of reddish-purplish coloring, as you can see. Indeed, phosphorus is used for the growth and development of roots. Hence, phosphorus-fed plants produce more blossoms and fruit that ripens more quickly and better. It's crucial for perennials, trees, and shrubs in addition to flower bulbs. Effectively, it's important to all plants, but it's crucial to understand precisely what a plant will use it for so we can figure out what's wrong. Let's now go to potassium. You'll notice that the yellow begins to smear within the leaf from the exterior, and that is a very obvious sign of potassium insufficiency. As one of the major 3 nutrients that contribute to a plant's overall health and strength, potassium is a nutrient that all plants need. It controls temperature. It aids in the plant's ability to survive temperature extremes and to fend off infections. Hence, most soils will typically contain a healthy level of potassium. Even though the third number is occasionally a bit less than the first 2, it is crucial. Knowing what's in your foundation soil will help you predict what your plants will lack or possibly have in abundance. But there are toxicities in addition to all deficits. A nutrient can be consumed in excess as well. It's remarkably similar to us humans. It is possible to consume too little vitamins. Vitamins have a maximum intake. We are now moving on to secondary nutrition. These are the ones that most people are unfamiliar with and don't fully grasp how they affect the plant. Calcium is a topic at hand. In some fresh leaves, you may see an example of calcium deficiency. It is something that is obvious. Young roots and shoots of plants who are still in their early stages of development need it. It strengthens the cell walls. The growing tips, as well as those edges, will begin to deteriorate and collapse if you don't get enough calcium. Now we're going to talk about magnesium. Magnesium, you can see here the deficiency symptoms. There is this sort of veininess that appears in the plant. It's a little bit lighter in color, and as far as function, magnesium is going to help uptake other plant foods and aid in seed formation. It is actually something that's contained within chlorophyll, which helps plants get that dark green color in their vegetation. It is essential for a lot of the processes within a plant, such as creating sugars, proteins, oils, fats. It also regulates the uptake of phosphorus. So as far as deficiency symptoms are concerned, because that is what we're here for, how do we know what exactly is missing from our plant? Plants exhibit this mottled yellow when magnesium is deficient. So take a look at the yellow that is spotted between the leaves. Areas that are yellow will eventually become brown and perish. Because of this, they might even turn reddish purple. Now, we're going to talk about sulfur. As a result, you can observe that the corn in this area lacks sulfur. You might be curious as to what sulfur does. Dark green once more. Chlorophyll can only be produced with it. It is regarded as a vital mineral and is just as necessary as phosphorus. But here's the thing. Plants don't require a lot of sulfur because most soils already have enough of it. 10 to 30 pounds per acre is a negligibly small amount. It is a conditioner for soil. In all honesty, very few individuals will experience sulfur insufficiency. There should be a lot of it in the soil. Let's continue to the trace elements. Plants require relatively modest amounts of these elements. That doesn't, however, imply that their absence is not a significant issue. A trace element might have significant effects on your plants as well. If you depend on your crops to succeed, or you're just a gardener who wants their crops to succeed, you'll struggle if you're missing a trace element. Here are several trace elements. When you notice yellowing of the leaves in between the veins, you have a boron shortage. There is some spotting evident. It is a really distinctive deficit. Identifying it isn't too difficult. Moreover, boron aids in protein synthesis. Cell walls are formed as a result. You'll observe that many of these nutrients perform multiple functions, working in tandem to carry out the majority of the plant's actions. That's boron. Let's discuss chlorine. Photosynthesis depends on chlorine. It resembles, say, a nitrogen deficit extremely closely. You can see a flash of lightning followed by some chlorosis in the plant. Just be aware that it is important and that, for the most part, your soil contains enough of it. Being a trace element, it is extremely unlikely to be deficient. Let's head to copper. Here is an illustration of a canola plant with a copper deficiency. The image on the right is the healthiest, and as we move to the left, the plant becomes increasingly deficient in copper. As a result, the leaf is lightening, which is the symptom you should watch out for. Chlorophyll is largely formed by copper. It is not very necessary for plants. Even though it is only a trace element, it would be terrible if they were to be missing it. With all of these plant nutrients, the same general idea applies. It causes your plant's enzymes to become active. It aids in the production of lignin. It's essential for flavor in some kind of plants, and oddly enough, it's a component of photosynthesis. It's essential for color in several kinds of flowers. So even then, you want copper in your plants for taste and aesthetic reasons. Copper cannot move. It resembles calcium in many ways. Thus, if your plants are lacking in copper, it will manifest itself in the newer growth, since plants cannot transport easily the available copper from the old growth to the new growth the way they could with other nutrients. Let's now discuss iron. Iron is another trace element. We can see a sign of a deficit in this situation. As a result of leaf chlorosis, that leaf does not seem to be in good health. If we trace these veins, don't you think it will be clear that they are green and much more noticeable? Yet, the big veins and then all these lesser veins can be seen here because the leaf structure has gone so yellow. You wouldn't normally be able to see any of these veins, but they would all suddenly become apparent. And with leaf chlorosis, that is essentially what you are witnessing. The synthesis of chlorophyll requires manganese. Look at this sign of a deficit. It is a severe symptom of a lack. Thus, I must point out to you that although magnesium and manganese sound quite similar and have many of the same qualities, there are some important differences between them. Chlorophyll therefore contains magnesium. Because they are unable to effectively photosynthesize, plants with low magnesium levels will turn pale green or yellow. No manganese can be found in chlorophyll. Because manganese is involved in photosynthesis, the symptoms of a manganese deficiency will be quite similar to those of a magnesium deficiency. The leaves will turn a dark, light yellow. Then the veins of the leaves are surrounded by this green. And that is how to identify a manganese shortage in yourself. Now that you are aware of the different plant nutrients and how to detect their deficiency, you should be able to better identify and resolve plant problems. We hope you learned a lot in this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell to get notified of our new videos. Until next time!